welcome back. Before we head to Dr. Bryson's lab, I got roughly 78 billion messages on the datapad from that last visit of the Citadel here. Okay, that may be a slight exaggeration. First one is from Garrus. Let me know if you ever want a rematch somewhere less windy. Those tornadoes on the Citadel are brutal. Yeah, don't make me regret letting you win. Ashley, thanks again for coming to the memorial. That meant a lot. Always happy to be there for my squad mates. Chakwas writes, thanks for speaking with the refugees, Commander. Despite the fact that we still need to talk to her to finish the mission, I think. James, damn, yeah, this ink stings a bit more than usual. Still worth it, though. But is it totally worth it? That's what Tali would want to know. Javik writes, hope did not save my people, but we never bothered to try. Maybe your cycle will be different. That is unusually optimistic coming from him. Samara, I will enjoy fighting the Reapers. I tire of duties that test my resolve and not my courage. Yeah, at least with Reapers it's a bit more straightforward who the enemy is. Miranda, finally got back to the Citadel. Found what I needed. Talk to you soon. Okay. That'll have to be at a future Citadel visit, I guess. Din Korlak, the bombers are on their way. Thank you for saving my life, Earth Clan. Well, at least he came through. Ashley, after our talk, all I'm thinking of is my dad's cooking. Normandy Chow just isn't cutting it. It's too bad we didn't get back Mess Sergeant Gardner. Although I don't really know if that's too bad. I'm not entirely certain if his cooking was really all it was cracked up to be. Liara, it was nice to take some time and look at the water again. Thank you, Shepard. Tali, for the record, I could still kick that Turian diplomat in the gizzard. I won't, but I could. Okay, I'm sure he'll be happy to hear that. Zaid, no way we're all getting out of this war alive. Be fun to try, though. Oh, I'm certainly going to make my best effort. Jacob, here's the update. Bryn now wants to call the baby Hackett. Heh, not bad for a girl, I guess. Maybe you would get better names if you named them after people's first names rather than their last names. And that is it. So, the rapid transit gives us the ability to go to Dr. Bryson's lab. And only there, well, or the Normandy. Which I guess is nice, because you don't have to go back through the dock to go to the Normandy, if you don't want to. Of course, that may mean you miss some conversations. It always tells me that here. I don't know why.
I want you to match this against all known locations and update the map. Then contact the field teams for a progress report.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Commander Shepard. We've been expecting you. Just a moment. And Hadley? Did you gather the Leviathan data for us? Apologies, Commander. The rest of my team is out investigating leads right now. I'm Dr. Garrett Bryson, and this is Task Force Aurora.
What's your assignment?
Our mandate is to investigate legends, rumors, old stories about the Reapers before anyone knew they existed.
That's an interesting goal. But is anyone doubting the Reapers exist these days?
The Alliance is still desperate for intelligence. Reaper motives, their operational tactics. Anything that can give us an edge.
And how did you wind up in charge?
When the rest of the galaxy says something doesn't exist, I take that as a chance to prove that it does.
So you're in it for the challenge?
For the truth. Even as late as 2148, humanity still thought aliens were a myth. That was within my lifetime. Once that myth was proven to be reality, our entire history changed.
Reapers were part of that reality too.
But even they have a history, Commander. If we could just uncover it, there may be a weakness we can exploit.
Could have used your help 3 years ago.
Yes. If people had paid more attention to your Prothean beacon, we might not be in this war. But now with new information we've uncovered, a breakthrough's near. Hadley, do you have the data?
No!
This is Commander Shepard. I need C-Sec at my location, now!
You shouldn't be here. The darkness can't be breached.
C-Sec, how about a doctor?
Transit records show his name is Derek Hadley. He's worked here for a couple months.
Shepard, I monitored a C-Sec alert from this location. Were you harmed?
I'm fine. But I could use your help sorting this out, Edie. Take a look through their files. I need to know what this task force was up to.
At once.
What? What's happening?
You tell me.
I was gathering our data when you arrived, and then it was dark. Cold. Like I was someplace else.
And then?
I don't know! A gun was in my hand. Dr. Bryson, there was a loud noise.
That was you shooting him.
I didn't do it, it wasn't me! You have to believe that.
So someone else pulled that trigger?
But I would never do that!
Commander, this does resemble reports of indoctrination.
Indoctrination? Me?
What about that Leviathan Bryson mentioned? How does that tie in?
It's some kind of creature. Our field teams have been tracking it. That artifact came in from our researcher, Garneau. He sent an audio log if you wanna...
What's wrong?
Turn back.
What are you talking about?
The darkness cannot be breached.
Damn it. Get him over to the clinic. See if they can tell us what's wrong with him.
Yes, sir.
Commander, you'll want to see this. It's an outgoing message from Dr. Bryson to Admiral Hackett.
Dr. Bryson, you have an update? Admiral, the Leviathan of Dis that we've been investigating, I think we're really onto something. Give me the brief. About 20 years ago, the Batarians discovered a Reaper corpse that had died in battle. They covered it up and denied it ever existed. But I'm intrigued by the larger implication. What could have killed the Reaper in the first place? Exactly. That's the real Leviathan. It's worth pursuing. Continue your investigation and update me on the progress.
There is also a follow-up message from a few weeks later.
Admiral, the Reapers are shadowing my field teams as if they're hunting Leviathan themselves. Whatever it is, I believe Leviathan is nothing less than a Reaper killer. Almost an apex predator, and it has them nervous. If we could just find it, imagine the impact on the war. I'm formally requesting assistance in tracking it down. You'll have it. This is now your top priority, Doctor. Find that thing.
It appears we were meant to be that assistance.
Anything capable of killing a Reaper could do a lot of collateral damage.
Yet given the state of this conflict, I believe the saying, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend," may be relevant.
But we won't know unless we can find it.
Bryson's assistant did say they recently received a log from their field researcher. It may yield more information.
Find audio log. That is really a very difficult and time-consuming mission, and oh wait, it's right there.
This must be the artifact the assistant mentioned. And here's the log.
Dr. Bryson, it's Garneau. I'm sending you an artifact I found. About the only thing I found there, in fact. Maybe it's nothing, but I'd swear Leviathan came through here. I'm gonna crunch some numbers. Burn up the rest of this Project Travel allowance. Maybe I can project our Reaper killer's movements. I'll check in when I get to the next site.
Garneau appears to be our best lead to track Leviathan, but he does not state a destination.
Let's focus on what he does say then.
He mentioned extrapolating Leviathan's path.
And crunching numbers. He wasn't flying blind. He had data.
A significant amount of data, judging by this office.
So how do we narrow it down?
Bryson and his colleagues evidently used a galaxy map search program in their hunt for Leviathan. It may help us locate Garneau.
And again, we get this really difficult mission to complete.
Does this tell us where Garneau went?
No. But we may be able to narrow down his location if we find clues he was using in his search for Leviathan.
Okay, now finally we got something substantial to do. Apparently, Garneau was looking for artifacts, and he went to one of these places, but we're gonna have to narrow that down a bit. And we do that by searching this lab for clues. Well, Dr. Bryson was not much help, considering he got murdered rather quickly. But this Leviathan thing sounds very interesting. This lab also looks rather interesting. What the hell is that? Okay, well that's just freaky. If you do that often enough, it will actually blow up, although it will later then mysteriously be back. But that, you really need to do it very often to get it to blow up, so I'm not going to do that. There's videos of it on YouTube already, I think. And let's see if we can find something more useful than the head of a husk. I wonder what he was doing with that. Bones? What kind of experiment was this guy running? Oh, I suppose this is Dr. Bryson's blood. This is where he was shot after all. Prothean artifact.
Is this Prothean?
Yes. I believe Dr. Bryson and Liara would have had much to discuss.
Can you add a search filter for locations known to have Prothean ruins or artifacts?
Adding the search filter, you may examine the results on the Galaxy Map program.
Okay, so now we added a search filter for Prothean activity with a picture of Javik, it seems.
Prothean artifacts.
No results. Some of our search parameters may be irrelevant.
When you get no results, you need to disable them because they prevent the other filters from working correctly. That kind of threw me off the first time. So let's turn that off and see if we can find more useful filters. Nothing we can do with the artifact itself. Stupid husk head is following me around, it seems.
These are all murders in which the accused lacked a known motive and claimed memory loss.
Just like Bryson's assistant. You think Garneau was following a trail of blackout crimes?
It is possible. We need to find data matching dates and locations for crimes of this nature.
But where can we find that?
Here's the time and date chart for the crimes. Can you filter for murders where the killer claimed memory loss?
Adding this search filter to the Galaxy Map.
Okay, well that wasn't hard to find. I got a second search filter.
Blackout crimes?
No results. Some of our search parameters may be irrelevant.
We're not doing too well at the moment. There's more rooms, however. And those rooms are actually locked if you do want to walk around for those two immensely difficult missions of finding the audio log and activating the galaxy map. They only unlock once you need to start finding evidence. Creepy music in the background. Let's see what this is. A video log.
Sir, this is Bryson. We know the Reapers are after Leviathan. Studying Reaper hunting patterns could be vital to finding it.
That data is classified top secret, Dr. Bryson. If it falls into the wrong hands...
It won't. The data's encrypted. I'll keep the decryption key safe. Close to my heart.
Close to his heart. What the hell does that mean?
That's a very good question. Maybe we should ask C-Sec if we can have his body back. Maybe it was literally close to his heart. Though I doubt it.
The Reaper fleet activity is encrypted, per Bryson's statement in the log.
He said he was keeping the decryption key close to his heart.
Anything at these pictures? Kind of hard to see if they resemble anything. Anyway, we can't interact with them. Piece of Sovereign.
Sovereign. Vanguard of our destruction. How's that working out for you, big guy?
Not too well, I think. It is a skeleton of something.
Loch Ness Monster?
Plesiosaur.
Loch Ness Monster is more interesting.
Interesting and non-existent.
I guess. Still no evidence for it by the 24th century, I would assume then?
Looks like data on the Rachni.
But what's that for?
March 7th, 2186. I'm looking at the Rachni. Their movements during the Rachni Wars suggest alien influence. But the timing is wrong. And Rachni weren't implanted with Reaper tech. What if Leviathan was preparing the Rachni to fight the Reapers?
What do you think, Edie?
It is possible that Bryson's team is using ancient Rachni fleet activity to find Leviathan. We saw a datapad containing data on Rachni movements earlier. It may be relevant.
I find more interesting what they just said about the Rachni. It was always heavily implied that the Rachni's sour note was generated by the Reapers, that they were corrupted by the Reapers to fight for them. And certainly that was true now, but during the original Rachni Wars it was a bit too early. That was before even the planned invasion that the Prothean scientists managed to prevent by sabotaging the Citadel, long before Sovereign showed up. So what would the Reapers have been trying to do, and were they even in a non-dormant state or anything at that particular point? If it was indeed this Leviathan, whatever the hell it is, that was controlling the Reapers, controlling the Rachni to potentially fight the Reapers, that makes a lot more sense. Interesting.
The Rachni data.
Can you add a cross-reference for locations of sightings?
Adding the search filter now.
I'll keep looking for other filters and go back once I've finished. Otherwise I keep running back and forth the whole time. That looks like a drawing.
By Anne Bryson. Age 9.
Records indicate Anne is now 28. She works for the Alliance.
Bryson was keeping the encryption key close to his heart. What's closer than family?
An interesting hypothesis. But I detect no trace of the decryption key in this art.
It appears to be a drawing of a Hanar. And there is here an SMG Mass Pulse Recoil System mod, one of the new mods from Leviathan that I've already pointed out in the stores. And here we actually got to find some. Still won't be using most of them. I don't think I'll be using any of them, actually. But at least we can get some now. Rocks.
Meteorite fragment, maybe?
He was studying it as an object of importance. We should look more closely at a sample.
Meteorite sample. With traces of element 0. Would Leviathan need ESO?
While it is not consumed as fuel during FTL travel, element 0 will decay after several centuries of active use. If Leviathan is old enough, it would need to replenish its supplies.
Okay. Can you give me a search filter for locations with element 0?
Adding it now.
Okay. We've got 4 filters now, I think. What's this? Sightings.
Bryson was tracking unexplained creature sightings.
The photographs have a trace chemical residue. It may be visible under another light source.
If so, I would expect that to be nearby. Maybe this switch. Wow. That's kind of cool.
Bryson was not merely tracking sightings. He was attempting to extrapolate a course.
And Garneau could have been following that course. Edie, can you add a search filter for systems along that projected path?
Doing so now.
It is not, by the way, necessary to actually get all of them. As soon as you get even one search filter that narrows the locations down, you can actually go to Normandy and simply look at all of the systems you've uncovered. But the further you narrow it down, the more experience points you get, and there's also an achievement for it, so... Plus, why wouldn't you? Looking for some clues here takes less time than scanning a whole bunch of systems. Let's see, a data pad on the Thorian, August 17, 2185. The Thorian, a life form discovered on Pharaohs, provides fascinating insight into the life cycle of a truly alien species. Unlike conventionally intelligent life, it does not use mass relays. Prothean artifacts would not interest it. Commander Shepard claims that Reaper enemies cultivated life to evolve along lines they could predict, using technologies the Reapers controlled. The Thorian is an exception to that rule. It evolved to use organic tools rather than conventional technology. Leviathan must be somehow similar to have survived undetected for so long. The Thorian used pain conditioning to control its victims, using them as manual labor, or even as a man would use his own hands and fingers. Commander Shepard claims that Reapers do the same thing through a different process called indoctrination. Whatever Leviathan is, it must do something similar. Okay, interesting information. No further clues here, it seems. Oh, that's the painting. Nothing here. Ooh, that's interesting. Looks like a drawing of a Reaper. A very old drawing of a Reaper by the looks of it. Perhaps from a previous cycle. They were, after all, trying to find information about the Reapers from before they were known. This appears to be the bathroom. Which, while interesting, is not all that useful. Looks like we can't use the toilet just as well, since ED is standing right there. Oh, great. Now I'm wet. ED. What the hell was she doing? Let's check upstairs. Still haven't found that decryption key. Another drawing.
Another piece of Anne Bryson's childhood art.
Wait a minute. Well, take a look at that.
I can use these numbers to construct a decryption key.
Alright, let's get back to the datapad we found earlier.
Doesn't look like a very complicated password. But at least we found it. And an audio log.
Dr. Bryson, per your request, I'm clearing Task Force Aurora for intercepted Batarian communications regarding the Leviathan of Dis.
Commander, the Dreadnought is in custody, but the Solarians may have surveillance footage. Our ambassador will issue a full denial. Give me your preliminary analysis. Several million years old at least, and its technology outstrips anything on the Council. Excellent. Our scientists will work day and night to bring its secrets to the hegemony. One concern, Commander. The real Leviathan of Dis, the thing that destroyed the ship, is still out there, unaccounted for. Irrelevant. The ship is our priority. And as far as the rest of the galaxy is concerned, there is no Leviathan of Dis. There never was.
Finding that Reaper turned out not to be so good for the Batarians, as it was the reason why the hegemony was largely destroyed in the initial Reaper attack. And they're now in the sorry state that they're in. We've heard the Leviathan of this mentioned before in descriptions of planets, I think. Now we might find out what it is. If it wasn't a Reaper, then what was it? The thing that killed the Reaper, but what could that be? I mean, I've killed 3 Reapers, but I'm not a Leviathan as far as I know. A picture of Dr. Bryson and I'm guessing that would be Anne. Somewhat older than age 9 in this picture. She was 28 now, according to Edie, so that makes sense. Or maybe it's his wife, although looks a bit young for that, so it's probably Anne. Let's get back to that data pad.
Decryption complete. Analyzing data. These movements do not match the standard invasion pattern. The Reapers are searching for something.
And I'll bet Garneau used this intel. Can you make a search filter for it?
Of course.
Okay, now the fact that it is pointing us back to the galaxy map means we got everything, but for completionist's sake I am going to check outside. Just an average location in the Citadel. Nice place for a lab. Can't have been a cheap location. And while there are no clues out here, there are some more mods, including pistol ultralight materials, which basically work the same way as ultralight materials for submachine guns, only for pistols. Very surprising, that. And this is the car we arrived in, and we can leave at any time. Of course, I want to narrow down the location first. SMG high velocity barrel, which I think basically acts as a piercing mod for submachine guns, but I think you cannot equip it at the same time as ultralight materials. So I won't be using it. Not that I use my submachine gun much these days anyway. And over on this side, on this trash, whatever it is a pistol cranial trauma system, which I think increases headshot damage for pistols. Don't really see any reason to use that over a regular extended barrel, though. Okay, now we've got 6 filters. We know that Prothean activity and blackout crimes have no results, but let's check the other 4.
Reaper activity?
Based on the search results, Garneau is in one of these 5 systems. I have marked the Normandy map with possible locations. We can leave now, unless you wish to further narrow the search.
It is indeed possible to go back to the Normandy and just scan these systems, but let's see if we can narrow it down further. We know Prothean activity has no results, so let's check Element 0.
Element 0 deposits.
Three possibilities.
Okay, that's getting better.
Arachnite activity.
No results. Some of our search parameters may be irrelevant.
Which means you need to remove that one before
3
continuing.
possibilities.
That one had no results.
Alien sightings.
We have a match, marking the galaxy map.
Good. Let's go find Garneau.
Good. We managed to narrow that down to 1 system, which is going to save some time. Of course, we get journal updates for all of this. Alex Garneau is the best source of information about Leviathan. Search possible locations across the galaxy to find him. Well, we just found out what system it is, and it's been marked on Normandy's galaxy map. So, let's head back to the Normandy. From here you can go to the Normandy or any of the locations at the Citadel which have a rapid transit station, which are these three. For now, let's go to Normandy. Since we've just been to the Citadel. Not much point in going back. Okay. That didn't have audio again, for whatever reason, but apparently Chakwas wants to talk to us. Which is, of course, to finish up the medical supplies mission. Let's go to the captain cabin real quick. Because we got some new fish, those eel-like things. It's becoming very cheerful, our little aquarium. Maybe it will prevent some more of those nightmares. Though I doubt it. And we also got a Geth fighter and a Quarian life ship for the models, and I think we are now complete as far as the models are concerned. All of the ones from Mass Effect 2, and a whole bunch of new ones. Which is nice, and of course we still have our hamster. As well as Tali's picture on the desk. Which I believe is all of the cabin customization you can get in this game. As far, at least in the base game, not counting DLC, because there is in fact one thing we can get in Leviathan. Let's go see Chakwas.
You always pull through, Commander. We've received the supplies from Tactus.
Everything good?
Indeed. We've acquired some very useful equipment. As such, I've been able to enhance the effectiveness of our Medigel delivery systems. I've also collated information that Liara may find of interest. Check with Glyph.
Okay, we got an efficiency increase for the Medigel, which is always good.
So, Udina finally went over the edge. I never really liked the man. Now I know why.
Because we have some catching up on conversation to do. Because before she was blocked by this mission.
It's nice to have Tali back. I've made sure we're well stocked with dextro-based antibiotics and antihistamines.
I'm sure she'll appreciate that.
Hello, Commander.
And that also completes the assignment in the journal. So we are slowly whittling down all of the things we have left to do. Let's check with Glyph.
Excellent find, Commander. The information network terminal has been updated.
Let's see, we got med-based surgery. This minor surgery will erase all scarring from your cybernetic implants. If you forego any cosmetic improvements, you will instead get a small boost to your overall health. This basically serves the same purpose as the surgery in Mass Effect 2, and I believe since I already did it in Mass Effect 2, yeah, I don't actually have the choice to do it again. But if you had not used it in Mass Effect 2 and were getting your scars back here because of Renegade choices, you can in fact use this to get rid of them if you want. But I already did it, so we'll just get the health bonus, which is always welcome, of course. Also, it looks like we have new messages on the broker terminal. A list of recent purchases by Zaid Masani. Armax Arsenal Incendiary Grenades, bulk purchase. Thermal Clips, bulk purchase. Medigel, bulk purchase. M451 Firestorm Fuel, bulk purchase. A Blade of Armor Plating. Han Kedar Field Rations. Casa Fabrication Weapon Repair Kit. Mount Milgram Triple Distilled 45-year-old Scotch Whiskey, 2 bottles. Rifle Parts, Discontinued Avengers Series. Is that for his old rifle, I suppose? Looks like Zaid is preparing for war.
Hello again.
The visit to Dr. Bryson's lab does not count as a mission, so there is no new dialogue to be observed with the squad mates. I do, however, want to go to Shuttle Bay. I don't think...
Always good to see you, Commander.
See, they never have anything to say. Because I want to upgrade a certain Black Widow that I just bought. Let's see how far we get before I run out of money. All the way, it seems. There we go, a Black Widow 5. Now, before moving on, I'd like to check with the
Commander.
War Assets Terminal. See everything we accomplished on the Citadel. Because I believe there are a number of things. We are getting very high. 7857. Total military strength. Of course, a lot of that is thanks to the promoted characters, which boost the Alliance stats very high. Let's see, we got the Volus bombing fleet. Volus prefer air power in conflicts, counting on the Turians for ground support. They maintain several flotillas of heavy bomber frigates capable of warfare in any atmosphere. And the Citadel Defense Force was updated. Because I think we already read up to here. This one is new, definitely. GEF jamming frequencies upgraded the Citadel's automated defense systems. Schematics recovered by Commander Shepard are helping CSEC easily locate and shut down active turrets by Cerberus on the Citadel. Schematics of advanced biotic amplifiers... Wait, that means they're not in the... Because some of these I know we've done earlier. So they're not in order of when I got them. This is one I did this time. The Elcor rejoiced when the Code of the Ancients was recovered. With hope restored, they rallied to help move supplies on the Citadel for the war effort. The recovery of Rings of Elune, named after a revered Asari physician, inspired Asari civilians to volunteer at Citadel refugee clinics and hospitals. Let's see if there's nothing else higher up then. That I've seen before. That I've seen before. That I've seen before. That too. Okay, that seems to be it. Alliance. We found the Alliance Engineering Corps. The Alliance Engineering Corps cuts roads through mountains and builds bases on asteroids. I think we've read that before. It's probably just an update. Yeah. Prothean data drives discovered by Sonax Industries have been turned over to Alliance engineers. The Prothean artifact known as the Obelisk of Karza is inscribed with specific technical terms and measurements, useful in decrypting the blueprints of the Crucible. Alliance scientists analyzing a Prothean sphere recovered from the Hades Nexus gathered useful data from their research. The Alliance First Fleet has been updated. Improved treatments for chemical burns are being implemented by Alliance doctors and medics. That's from the treatments we found in at the fuel reactors. I think the Leipzig is also new. The SSV Leipzig was the first Alliance frigate to field test the Phanex cannon, a compact version of a Reaper weapon developed after the Battle of the Citadel. The Leipzig's captain was so pleased with the result, she gave her unconditional recommendation that the Alliance begin mass-producing the cannon as soon as possible. The Fifth Fleet has been updated. The original SSV Hong Kong was destroyed in the Battle of the Citadel, when its captain threw her ship in front of a blast meant for a dreadnought. The ship's frame was later melted down and incorporated into the framework of a new frigate, rebuilt as its successor. And the rest are all old ones. We got Zaid as an asset. Zaid Masani has a reputation as one of the most relentless and efficient mercenaries in the Terminus systems. Cerberus contacted Masani a few months after the Collectors were destroyed and offered him a job. Negotiations ended badly, and Masani now seeks out jobs that oppose his former employer's interests. He brings years of experience and finely honed survival skills to the fight against the Reapers, as well as endless anecdotes, I'm sure. The Asari, let's see, the Asari Second Fleet has been updated. A group of Asari mercenaries sent by a matriarch friend of the commander have volunteered their services. They'll ride with the Second Fleet, deploying to combat zones as required. Shepard passed a Reaper code fragment to Asari High Command. An isolated copy will help predict Reaper movements. The Sixth Fleet has been updated. The Library of Arsha contains definitive works by Asari on the art of war. These texts have been distributed as standard training manuals to all Asari recruits. It's kind of like the Asari version of Sun Tzu, it seems. Emergency fuel pods. The fuel pods scavenged from a field of debris in the Valhallan Threshold were once attached to a fleet of merchant vessels making long, risky journeys into uncharted space. The pods have been repurposed for the Crucible project. When activated, the Crucible's fusion reactors consume entire oceans of helium-3. The fuel pods serve as emergency reservoirs should the weapon use more power than expected. Advanced power relays. The advanced power relays are 15 kilometers of insulated wiring connected to switch boxes that regulate the energy flow. Installing the relays in the Crucible will prevent catastrophic power surges from overloading its systems, which is a good thing. Haptic Optics Array. The Haptic Optics Array is an experimental computer user interface. Cortical implants allow users to see screens projected in front of them. A user's eye movements are tracked, syncing to hand gestures as they sift through the data. While disorienting at first, people using the optics array report increased efficiency, and the technology has been adapted by several dozen engineers for use on the Crucible. There's an update on the Krogan clans. Fierce, toxic immune creatures known as Caccliosaurs, once used as battle mounts by the Krogan, have been cloned from the fossilized Caccliosaur skull discovered by Commander Shepard. And finally, the Turian Sixth Fleet was updated. Commander Shepard recovered a neurotoxin formula from a Cerberus lab, using it to make an antidote for a poisoned Turian general. Oh, and the Turian Spec Ops team. Guard Captain Vadinos heads a special operatives team that distinguished itself in the war on Tetris. Otherwise it sounds too much like Tetris. Tracking down Turian separatist leaders opposing the hierarchy. During the war, the separatists rammed the ship, traveling at FTL speeds into the heart of Tetris' capital. Vadinos' unit experienced their worst fighting in the Diluvian wildlands, unwelcoming marshes with a population deeply sympathetic to the separatist cause. Okay, that brings us up to speed with the war assets. Now let's go and find Dr. Garneau. I think he's a doctor.
Commander.
I'm suddenly not certain anymore. Let's go and find Garneau.
Commander.
Nothing going on here? No. Now, instead of numerous systems to visit, we have only one. The Kilston Rift. So far, I'm not being very successful with finding stuff in this system.
Evasion successful.
I have to say I'm not certain
Signal
there is
confirmed.
anything. Oh, well, now I am.
Reapers eluded.
Bress, a member of the Fillmore Belt, Bress is a dwarf planet with no atmosphere. It is, however, rich in lithium, which is integral to the heat sinks of many starships and handheld weapons. A large robo-mining operation from Kilston once existed here, but the miners quickly abandoned the area when they learned they were in the path of the Reapers, which is probably a smart thing to do. And we found synth diamond heat sinks. The other is probably a fuel depot.
Faster than light jump successful.
Usually when there's a moon somewhere, there's always something there. Not this time, it seems.
I found something.
Aha.
We have located Garneau.
Well, that's good. Mojavit is a metallic asteroid in the very sparse Nahata belt. It has a high nickel and iron content in the form of camosite. The rights to mine Mojavit belong to TGS Mineral Works, who sell their products primarily to the colonists of Arvuna. A close flyby reveals light emanating from its facilities. Alright, let's take a look.